This is the MGTOWinfinium here with another Infinium Free Talk. This Infinium Free Talk is entitled Some Speculation About Simping. My brothers, by now you all are aware of the brawl which occurred in Montgomery, Alabama, when a co-captain attempted to move a pontoon boat which was blocking the area where his cruise boat needed to dock. In the aftermath of this incident, it has been assumed and widely regarded as finding its basis in the issue of race relations. And while the aforementioned assumption layer can be construed as a component of what happened, there is another layer that involves simping, which is, in my opinion, a crucial overriding component to this incident. My brothers, I would submit that this incident overwhelmingly proves why there is no nobility in simping, and also why men who do simp will ultimately wind up being the losers in every possible way. Again, when you take into account the layers of this incident, it is more of an issue of doing the right thing rather than race. I will submit further that this is a case of hubris on the part of the simps who attacked the co-captain, and as well, it may have only become a matter of race, both because of the hubris of the simps and them not doing the right thing in the first place. My brothers, this is a CNN news segment where the captain of the cruise boat details what happened before the co-captain was attacked. In the use of this content, I cite fair use policies. Here now is the news segment.
In moments, the riverboat captain in that massive Alabama brawl is speaking out for the very first time. He joins me live. But first, some new developments tonight in the investigation. Police are now charging another person, this time Mary Todd, with third-degree assault, making her the fourth person now facing charges. A 21-year-old turned herself in today, is expected to make her first court appearance tomorrow morning. Earlier this week, police also charged 3 men with third-degree assault. That now viral and massive brawl broke out after riverboat co-captain Damian Pickett, the man that you saw struck just now in the white shirt, asked a private pontoon boat to move so that his boat could park. Pickett, a black man, along with a 16-year-old white young man, were victims in the fight. Tonight, in an exclusive interview, the captain of that riverboat is speaking out about just what happened that day. Captain Jim Kittrell joins me now. Thank you for joining us today. First of all, we've all been watching. We've seen this video. Everyone has been talking about this. We see where the video picks up, but tell us what you saw happen.
Well, what everybody hadn't seen yet is what happened to make all these other things happen. And that was, we were doing our 5 to 7 cruise last Saturday, coming into the dock, and I noticed there's a lot of boats at the dock. And I noticed that one of the pontoons is too far back for me to align my exit ramp with my exit gate with the exit ramp. So I said, okay, well, so I blow my horn a few times, boop, boop, and nothing happens. So I did that another time, nothing happened. So I got on the PA and I said, folks in the pontoon boat there, could you please move your boat up a few feet so I can pull into the dock? Nothing happened, no response at all. I did that maybe 5, 6 times and it still hadn't moved. So I said, okay, so I said, listen now, I've got to get these people to the dock. I've got 200 passengers on here. I need you to move the boat forward. Still nothing, so I said, okay, well, I'm gonna have to call the police. And the police are gonna come down here, and if you've got alcohol on your boat or whatever, it's gonna be a bad day, so let's just move the boat up and avoid that. Still nothing.
This is all
so I said,
the
okay,
PA
so I
system.
called the police.
You're saying this to them. They're within earshot. You call the police, they still don't respond until this moment when you have your co-captain get off, and that's what he's confronted with?
Well, not yet. After I called the police, I went back on the PA one more time. And I said, okay, I've called the police. They're going to be down here. They're coming on their way. Well, the passengers and crew said they're flipping you off there, Captain. I said, okay, so I knew that I wasn't going to get any cooperation. Well, then they just left. Everybody on the boat left, off the dock. They're gone. As far as I know, they're gone. I didn't know. So I said, okay, what am I going to do now? About that time, a friend of mine who was the captain of the Simping cycle, he called me up. He was at the scene too. He was doing cruises. And he said, "What you going to do, Captain?" He said, "I tried to talk to them to get them to move, and they refused to move." I said, "Well, do you think you could come over here? Let me put a couple of deckhands on your boat and send them over there and let them move the boat for me." And that's common practice in the boat world. Yeah, sometimes you have to move a boat here and there just to fit in. It happens a lot like at fuel docks or whatever. You have to move the boat sometimes. It's not
it's not unheard of to do something like that.
Yeah.
And so, then when that happened, I mean,
right.
how did we then see that obviously these men were approached, they came back on the scene, even though you thought they had gone, and then this
Yes.
violence escalates. You know, watching this, people immediately thought, just because of the racial dynamic in particular, obviously here, they saw a group of white men attacking a singular black man who was struck, it looks like first.
Right.
Did you believe that race played an
Right.
impact and a role on this entire thing?
Well, initially now, Damien, he's actually my first mate, and I've
He's
been
who was
mentoring.
struck.
He's been on the boat for. Yes, he's the one that was struck, and he's been a dear friend of mine for a long time. And when the first guy hit him, I said, "Oh my God," you know, and he threw his hat up. I said, "Oh no, we got problems." And then another guy got involved, and then three or four more guys came running down the dock. I said, "Thank God they're going to stop this," but they didn't stop it. They jumped in as well. So he had like 5 or 6 folks on there. And the other guy that's on the dock, his name's Daniel, and he's 16 years old. He's a deckhand candidate, and he did his best, you know, trying. He stepped in there and tried to help as best he could. He got punched fairly early there. So
Have you talked to
yeah,
Damien?
you know, I saw it.
Have you talked to him? How is he holding up?
Oh yeah, I mean, I took him to the hospital that night. We've been he's doing well. He's still having some headaches and stuff, but he's doing well. But you know, I saw it like everybody else saw it. It looks like a white people attacking a black man. I thought that. I felt that. I felt that was the case. What everybody's thinking. But you know, I don't know the hearts of those men. I have no idea what's in their hearts. Now I do know the hearts of my crew. And my crew was like frustrated because they couldn't get to the dock, and protective. So I know that's what was going through their mind, because that's what was going through mine. But
Had you had any other experiences before with this same group of people?
well, I don't know about the same group of people. This is a group that comes up from downriver, from Selma. They come up every year, and they park their boats and they go have fun downtown. And we have a couple of years ago, we came back from the cruise to get our golf cart that we used to get people up the hill that are handicapped or elderly. And we get back and the golf cart's gone. We don't know where it is. Well, eventually we get a call from the hotel, and the Embassy Suites Hotel, and they say, "Hey man, your golf cart's in our lobby." So we go down there and get the golf cart, and we see the video, we find out who it is. We call the police. We all get together with the guy that stole it, and you know, the police say, you know, it's just kind of a prank. And I called my boss, because the boat belongs to the city.
Right.
And he said it's city property, but so he wanted me to press charges, but the police said, "Hey man, you know, just a little prank, so let's let it slide." I said, "Okay."
Well,
so we let it
Captain,
slide.
there's been a very different response to this. This does not feel like a prank. It's not being treated like a prank. There are criminal charges, people turning themselves in, arrest warrants issued. And as you say, really, we've been all watching this unfold. And what struck me is that you thought that the people coming in were going to help. And we saw what ultimately occurred. Captain,
Yeah.
thank you for sharing this
Yeah.
story with us and telling us what we were not seeing. I know there's more to it. We'll want to hear from you again. Thank you so much.
Sure. And trust the process. The process will work its way out. It'll all come through in the end. So
Trust the process. Very prescient words. Thank
trust
you
the
so
process.
much.
My brothers, as you can see, the owners of the pontoon boat were given multiple chances to move it. As well, the captain of the cruise boat tried to resolve the issue without first calling the police, which he was well within his rights to do so. More importantly, the owners of the pontoon boat were delaying the docking of the cruise boat, which had about 200 passengers on board. So not only were they holding up the cruise boat, they were holding up every passenger on board. This leads me to believe that the hubris of the simps had a part to play in the aforementioned in that they refused to cooperate with the captain. This is because they were in essence trying to show that they had power over the captain, and in doing so, displaying to their women that they are powerful. I would submit here, as a point of speculation, that as par for the course, the high probability of some of the women involved actually egging the simps on in what they were doing. At the point where the brawl occurred, the context of simping becomes even clearer when the events before the brawl are taken into account. Here again, it is my contention that the simps were egged on in part by some of the women involved and also by their own hubris, thereby making it more of a case of simping is as simping does. Where the gray area resides is whether or not a component of race played a part in the hubris, such as a white man not allowing a black man to tell him what to do, and or the woman involved egging the simps on because of the aforementioned reason of race. Also, it is a gray area in terms of the combination of hubris and alcohol being as well a contributing factor in the incident. Nevertheless, again, this is more of a case of hubris working in the minds of the simps because of their refusal to be told what to do. The ensuing brawl, where the women became involved after the co-captain was initially punched and jumped by the simps, further proves the overall contention that women love drama. This can be said from the standpoint of the Will Smith effect. Women love it when their men act foolishly in an effort to prove their worth before them. In reality, what the simps and their women did not anticipate was the tables being turned on them both by the captain's fellow crewmates as well as angry passengers on the boat. Again, while on face value, the brawl appears to be divided along racial lines, it is the component of simping which becomes a major factor for men of all races. This is because no matter what the race is, the effects of simping are universal. Or in other words, any man of any race, stature, creed, etc. can wind up in a situation where simping utterly destroys his life. My brothers, when it comes to we MGTOW men and the life path which we've all chosen to walk on, the brawl in Montgomery, Alabama, when taken in its proper context, becomes then an important reminder as to why we should never ever simp. My brothers, as MGTOW men, always remember that you are not designed to be simps. You are designed to be free men who seek their freedom because of our fundamental right to be free as men. That being said, again, never ever simp. Just don't do it. This is the MGTOW Infinium, and this has been an Infinium Free Talk. My MGTOW brothers, as always, stay safe, stay strong, stay on the MGTOW path, and remember, MGTOW is the liberation of men's minds. MGTOW cannot and will not be stopped.